Now, the Fort Wayne TinCaps are the Padres single A affiliate, advanced A affiliate of the Padres. They will start their season this Friday night. It's good to have Jon Nolan back with us, voice of the TinCaps, on Jon Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Jon, always our pleasure. We saw Ethan Salas will be on this opening day roster for the TinCaps. Was that expected, or is that at all surprising to start the year with Fort Wayne?
Jon Jim, thanks so much for the chance to join you here. I wish it could be in person again like we had
Yes,
last
enjoyed
fall.
that.
Otherwise,
soon.
No snow. Yeah, no snow here, but it is cold and wet. Thankfully, it looks like it'll be better when we actually play ball opening day. But yeah, to your question, so Ethan Salas, the story, of course, a lot of Padres fans know, signed last year at 16, top international free agent prospect. He was off to a great start with single A Lake Elsinore. Got called up here to high A Fort Wayne, was here less than 2 weeks. And then he joined that big wave of prospects to double A San Antonio with the likes of Jackson Merrill and Graham Pauley. But I think that was really circumstantial at the time because not only those couple of position players, but also a lot of the top pitching prospects like lefty Robbie Snelling and Adam Major, right-hander. And one thing that fans should keep in mind, the double A season is a little bit longer than the high A season. And the way it went last year was that double A San Antonio had clinched a playoff spot ahead of Fort Wayne. So in theory, it was a chance to really just solidify some extra playing time for Ethan. Now, unfortunately, he wound up suffering a knee injury that cut that plan short. So the fact that he's here at high A, not necessarily surprising. I mean, if anything, it's a surprise because he's 17 years old right now, and he's still going to be the youngest player at this level here this season. But no, it's appropriate here for the progression of a top prospect.
And Ethan Salas is he is going to be the most watched guy for the TinCaps this year while he's on that roster. But what are some other players that are on this team right now to start this season that fans should be watching?
Yeah, and so actually his roommate, one of his battery mates, right-hander Dylan Lesko, he was the Padres' first-round draft pick 2 summers ago out of high school in the Atlanta area. Now, Dylan had Tommy John surgery during his senior year of high school, so that put him a little bit behind the 8 ball here early on in his pro career. So, again, Robbie Snelling is the top lefty pitching prospect in the organization. Dylan Lesko, the top righty pitching prospect. And those 2 guys were roommates together during spring training. But now here in Fort Wayne, it'll be Dylan Lesko and Ethan Salas living together, working together. And, Dylan, he has one of the best changeups among any minor league pitcher right now. And that's really advanced because a lot of times these guys coming out of high school, they can throw it really hard. Maybe they can spin it some too, but to have an advanced feel for a changeup too, part of what makes Dylan Lesko an elite prospect. So I think wouldn't be surprised if it's the minor league baseball featured game of the day coming up on Sunday when Lesko will make his season debut. Coincidentally, that'll be against the Dodgers affiliate in the Midwest League up in Michigan. And Salas is penciled in right now to be his battery mate. So it's a cool thing for fans to look forward to. You can catch all games for free, as a matter of fact, in minor league baseball. But sometimes they make them really prominent there on the MLB app and MLB.com. So keep your eyes out for that. TinCaps have the Apple logo in flavor of minor league baseball. It's fun.
No doubt about it. Jon Nolan is with us. He's the voice of the TinCaps. They'll start their season on Friday. So you mentioned Lesko and Salas. Homer Bush Jr. starts the year as well in single A Fort Wayne. What are the expectations for him? Was he previously in Fort Wayne or not?
No, so Homer Bush Jr. followed after his father, who was originally drafted by the Padres, had a 7-year major league career. Not really with the Padres. He actually part of one of those Yankees World Series teams in the late 90s. But Homer Bush Jr. last year drafted out of Grand Canyon University, top 5-round pick. He was with single A Lake Elsinore. Matter of fact, he was actually there along with Ethan Salas, bumped up to double A San Antonio for their late season playoff push. So for Homer, it'll be his first taste of Fort Wayne, the Midwest League, which coincidentally, actually back in the day, like 21 years ago, his dad was the league MVP. So yeah, hopefully, that trend continues for the family. But I'm looking forward to seeing him play for the first time. I think his own scouting report is that he's an exciting player because he's a burner. And I was talking with him here about goals for the season, and he didn't want to put a specific number on it, but basically the one thing that he's challenging himself to do is to steal as many bases as possible. He brings that plus speed out to center field as well. And we'll see how he hits. It's going to be tough. Keep in mind for any fans that are going to be checking stats of the minor leaguers here, specifically Fort Wayne early in the season. This reality is, you guys are lucky, but out here, there's going to be days when it's in the 40s, 50s, it's going to be wet. So it's not ideal hitting conditions. And all you need to do is look back to last year, and Jackson Merrill was really struggling, batting average in the low 200s over the course of the first month or so of the season. And I guess things are working out okay for him now.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about Jackson and Graham Pauly, the two guys that you've seen a lot of. Just your impressions of them so far to start the season at the big league level.
One thing I would share with fans that I think is really cool that I feel like has I didn't notice this when I first started working with the TinCaps about a decade ago, but here in recent years, there is just like such a bond throughout the organization to the point where even the hallways here of the clubhouse in Fort Wayne, it's all posters and framed photos of Padres legends and current players. And then on the TVs, it's always the Padres game or a replay of the Padres game. Just use Ethan Salas, for example. I saw a few minutes ago, he posted on Instagram, just fired up for Kyle Higashioka and the game that he had here today. Saw the likes of Homer Bush, sharing the videos of Pauly and Merrill's home runs. So there's just a really tight bond throughout the entire organization. And even talking to, a relief pitcher here with the high A team who's not necessarily going to be a prospect or a future major leaguer probably. And he was asked about, this season, and he was talking about the importance of trying to win at the high A level because they feel like that's the foundation of winning at the major league level. So just great synergy throughout the organization. And it was a pleasure, as a fan to get to watch Jackson and Graham here. So again, I mentioned I've been here for about 10 years, and granted, like their ages weren't the same because when Fernando was here, he was 18 and set a franchise record for home runs, and Graham Pauly last year was 22 and wasn't here for the entire season. But Pauly, he had the greatest month and a half of anyone who ever came through Fort Wayne, basically. And I was running numbers, and for his time here in Fort Wayne, his numbers were only pretty much equaled by like Ohtani and Matt Olson. So he was amazing. And I'll just say it was really awesome. I had a chance to go out to Peoria spring training, talk to those guys a little bit. And same character that we knew them here when they weren't household names, or maybe not household names, so they weren't, names that everyone in San Diego was talking about, especially Graham Pauly. He is just like such a down to earth guy. Really, really easy to root for.
Jon Nolan with us right now, voice of the Fort Wayne TinCaps. Back to Salas for a moment, but by starting him in single A, and to your point, he's still so young. The Padres don't have a need, by the way, for him right now with Luis Campusano. But by starting a player with his ceiling in single A, does that take away this idea that, hey, with a good year, he could be in the major leagues this September? Like, do they want to concentrate more on the now than this idea that, well, if you start in double A, you put together a nice couple of months, maybe you'll have a chance to play in the big leagues later this year? How do you see that?
Probably the necessary caveat here is that it's an organization run by AJ Preller, right? So he's like not going to go by the rules. Mm-hmm. So I've learned during my time to just reserve judgment, and things will play themselves out. Because the notion is just that the talent rises to the top, and they're not going to put any limitations on anyone. And so again, realistically, 17-year-old like Salas here, can play his way up to double A. That's at least sort of the first milestone to look towards. I think really that's it right now. It's not really worth anyone's time to try to project. I know this kind of counters having a talk radio show, but it doesn't really, it's not really worthwhile to try to project too far ahead. He's just trying to dominate here at the high A level as best as he can.
Jon, we're looking forward to the season, obviously, in the minor leagues. So many prospects that could impact the Padres at this point in 2024 or beyond, including there in Fort Wayne, like Ethan Salas, Dylan Lesko, Homer Bush Jr., and others. Best of luck in the start of another season, Jon. We appreciate you, and we'll catch up again with you as the season gets underway.
Yeah, appreciate you guys as well. And just finally, actually, the TinCaps just had a meet the team kind of like fan fest event. And something I learned about Ethan, as minor league players get settled here, new part of the country. He's got a car, like teammates do as well. A car being, delivered here to use for the season. And then someone's like, Ethan, do you have a driver's license yet? And he actually has not had a chance to pass his driver's test yet, just because he's been so busy here with the rush of getting into professional baseball. So again, just a little bit of context.
He does not have a driver's license?
That's what?
But he has a car?
That was the story here tonight. Yes, because he did have a bonus of more than $5 million, so you can kind of plan ahead.
So, okay, he's got a car, but he can't drive it. So, okay.
Currently. So,
okay, well, there's Uber. Like you said, I mean, with $5 million, you can probably Uber around.
Actually, no, I mean, it's a cool thing, which you get fans maybe not aware of in minor leagues. I mean, guys they share an apartment together. So a guy like Ethan Salas here will live with Dylan Lesko, and Dylan was kind of joking that he's like the chauffeur here early part of the season, making the short drive over to the ballpark. So gotta love the camaraderie here in minor league baseball.
That's amazing. John, Thank you. Great perspective. Appreciate you. We'll do it again soon.
Thanks, John.
Okay. Thanks, guys. See you.
All right. So people want to see Ethan Salas in the big leagues. He can't drive legally.
Right. So when they win games, they'll give him like Capri Suns.
Well, yeah, for years. He's nowhere near 21.
I know.
That's crazy. Is he still 17? I always get confused there. He's still 17?
Jackson Merrill's 20.
Still 20. So Salas turns 18 June 1st. That's crazy.
That's wild.
You can't even buy like scratch-offs.
No. You can't even rent a car.
Well, he can't drive a car.
Can't drive
Why
a
would
car.
he even right?
He could drive a car. He just doesn't have his license. That's one of the sounds of it.
Right. Exactly.